future, and there are a passel of spacewalks that lie ahead for the integration and activation of the multi-purpose laboratory module once it arrives on that on a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome next year.
And the reading is 0.18 and 0.4. Copy. That's what we see on the display. And the difference is 4. EV2 0.31, EV1 0.32. Copy.
The work to be done outside today by Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov entails a variety of different tasks. Again, the primary task is to begin the very laborious process of decommissioning the Pirs docking compartment. But we have an animated overview of that spacewalk now that we can provide that will show you all of the elements to be conducted by the two cosmonauts today during Russian Spacewalk number 47.
Russian EVA-47 will be conducted by Sergei Ryzhikov as EV-1 in the red striped suit and Sergei Kud-Sverchkov as EV-2 in the blue striped suit. Mini Research Module 2, or MRM-2, will be the first time used as a Russian airlock, replacing Docking Compartment 1, or DC-1. The new EVA hatches, seals, will be checked out before the crew egresses MRM-2. EV-2 will egress first, and EV-1 will hand out the new FGB Flow Control Regulator Panel 1 in its airtight container. Then EV-1 will egress MRM-2. The two will translate to the FGB and install the airtight container on the FGB frame. The two will then remove the MLI on the FGB panel. The two will work together and remove the failed flow control regulator and temp stow it out of the way. Then the two will open up the airtight container, take out the new flow control regulator, and install the new flow control regulator panel 1. MLI will be opened on the new flow control regulator and the connectors will be retrieved. The connectors will then be mated to FGB. Photos will be taken and all MLI will be closed. The two will then stow the old flow control regulator panel 1 into the airtight container and close the door. They will release the airtight container from the FGB and translate to MRM-2 and stow the airtight container inside MRM-2. Then they will retrieve the window cleaning tool. The two will then translate to the MRM-2 Transit B cable and remove it. They will then route Transit B and connect it to the SM patch panel. The crew will then translate to DC-1 and remove the SNP 407 type connector experiment from the DC-1 handrail. Then they will translate over to the service module, window number 8, and clean it. The crew will then translate up Strela boom to the MRM-2 and redirect the Bakadao, or the Plume Impingement and Deposit Monitoring Unit. Then the crew will translate over to the MRM-2 hatch and egress. This will conclude Russian EVA-47.
EV2, 2 increments.
And as you heard during that narrated animation, it is the disconnection of the so-called Transit B antenna feeder that is at the interface of the Pirs docking compartment and the Zvezda service module, and its reconnection to the interface to the Poisk module that technically begins all of the work associated with transferring spacewalk airlock tasks from Pirs, which has been used since its launch in September of 2001 for Russian-based spacewalks, to the Poisk airlock, which is being employed for the first time today.
And please place the hatch handle nearby. Copy.
Кейт, ручку в карман положить рядом.
So, Kate, please put the hatch tool in the pocket nearby. Yes, I will do that. It will be in the pocket next to the hatch. Copy.
У вас сейчас экран.
Right now, if I understand it correctly, you have a standard display, leak check, and...
While Roscosmos and Kud-Sverchkov are continuing preparations inside the Poisk airlock for their spacewalk today, aboard the Crew Dragon Resilience, you see Shannon Walker at the bottom of your screen, joined by Soichi Noguchi, as they work to transfer equipment that was brought to the International Space Station aboard Crew Dragon. The work that they have been involved in is the transferring of equipment and cargo that was launched aboard the Crew Dragon atop a Falcon 9 rocket by SpaceX on Sunday night from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. They are 7 crew members strong now aboard the International Space Station, all part of the Expedition 64 crew, and will be dropping in to take a look at their work from time to time throughout the course of the day. There's another view of Japanese astronaut Soichi Noguchi, the 3rd human to have flown on 3 different spacecraft during a spaceflight career, following in the footsteps of Wally Schirra and John Young. Noguchi returning to the International Space Station for his 2nd long-duration mission and his 3rd mission to the station overall.
Перевел сброс СК. Есть сброс давления.
It is in depressed position. Depress is confirmed.
Пока сбрасывается давление,
Copy, and
фрагмент 4,
while the pressure is decreasing, please switch to view card 4, step 6, depress to depress. All right. View card 4, step 6.
Фрагмент 4, шаг 6, подготовил.
View card 4, step 6. I'm ready. And what is the current
Избыточная 0,
excess pressure in USS 0.02 for EV1, 0.01 for EV2, copy, and what is the current MV pressure gauge reading in MRM2? It is 742. 742 copy. Well, 747. No. Okay, copy. And you're go to start the depress. Please open KSDSO, start up the timer. And when the pressure reaches 550 on MV, please close KSDSO valve and stand by for LED to go off. And please monitor the pressure decrease.
Принято. Можно работать по открытию КСДСО.
And you're going to open KSDSO depressed valve.
Принято.
It's in work. Copy.
With the hatch closed between the Poisk module and the Zvezda service module, Roscosmos and Kud-Sverchkov will open up a valve to begin the depressurization of Poisk down to 550 millimeters of mercury, the initial step in a multi-step process to test the integrity of the Poisk module and its seals.
Report the pressure reading. Pressure reading is 660, 650. This is the MV pressure reading. Copy. Stand by for 550 reading. Copy. 610. Copy. 600. 590. Copy. Good.
570.
570. Copy.
550. Закрывай.
550 closing KSD depressed valve. Copy. KSD depressed valve is closed, and the pressure reading is LED is not illuminated. The current pressure is 554 millimeters. All right, and please start the 10-minute timer for pressure stabilization in MRM2. Copy.
13:49.
13:49.
На скафандре сброса скаф состояние.
And the suit should be in the depressed pressure.
And the first phase of this depressurization is now stopped at about 550 millimeters of mercury. The two cosmonauts inside Poisk and Kate Rubins on the station side of that interface between Poisk and Zvezda will perform leak checks to make sure that we have an airtight seal to the new airlock that is being employed for the first time today. Rubins and her new arrivaled crewmates from Resilience are free to move about between the Russian and U.S. segments of the station. The hatch is closed to the aft portion of the Zvezda service module per the flight rules, but since Kate Rubins' Soyuz vehicle, the MS-17, is located on the Rosviet module port on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment, she is free to move about the cabin throughout the course of today's spacewalk.
Results. All right, copy. We're standing by then.
Serежа 1, 2. У вас какое положение?
1 into what is the position of the temperature control handle? It is in position 1 and 4.
ТО у второго в тройке.
And for EV2, it is in position 3. Copy. And how does it feel? Is it cool enough, comfortable? Yes, it is.
Хорошо.
Okay.
The International Space Station and its 7 crew members flying from southwest to northeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator at an altitude of 260 statute miles, passing just to the northwest of the capital of Somalia, Mogadishu.
And because of the foam that's on the side of the mega HEPA filter itself, the seal doesn't fit properly, and so it's kind of bowed in the middle. I don't know if that's going to be good enough or not.
Okay, we copy. We're checking.
That is Shannon Walker aboard the Crew Dragon Resilience, again referencing the transfer of cargo from Resilience into the International Space Station. That is occupying most of the Dragon crew's time today as they continue on with other work parallel to the spacewalk that is scheduled to begin with the opening of the hatch to the Poisk module a short time from now.
Is it okay? Yes, I guess it's off a bit. It keeps increasing, but does not exceed 30. Sergey, what is the current MRM2 pressure reading? It decreased a bit. Currently, it is 575. 575, that's okay. Copy. And please proceed with pressure stabilization. Copy.
Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov continue to monitor pressure inside the Poisk module. They are testing the integrity of the seals on the Poisk airlock, which is being employed for the first time today for a Russian spacewalk. Once Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov complete this preliminary set of leak checks at the Poisk module and open up the hatch, a Russian spacewalk, its duration is measured from hatch open to hatch close. So once the hatch is open, the clock will start on what is known as PET, or phased elapsed time, for the duration of the spacewalk until hatch close. Now, they will be closing the hatch here, again, as part of the leak checks associated with the first use of this Poisk airlock, but that will not stop the clock today. The clock will run from initial hatch opening to the void of space until hatch closure at the end of today's planned 6-hour spacewalk. A U.S. spacewalk out of the Quest airlock is measured in phased elapsed time from the time that astronauts put their suits on internal battery power until they're back inside the airlock and begin to repressurize Quest.
2 minutes left before the end of the 10-minute stabilization. The current pressure is 557, so it's the tendency to rise has lowered a little bit. Copy. That's good. That's good news.
That report from Sergei Ryzhikov indicating that pressure inside Poisk in this initial partial depressurization of the airlock is holding steady. That's good.
10 minutes is over. I'm ready to start 5-minute timer. Okay, 10 minutes of stabilization has passed. So MRM2 pressure, could you please report it? MRM2 pressure. 757. Oh, sorry, 577. Correction. 577. Okay.
Сергей, давай еще раз уточним.
Сергей.
575 или 577?
Okay. 575 or 577, Sergey? 577 Moscow.
Принято. 577.
577.
На контроль герметичности засекаем.
Okay, so now start the timer for the leak check for 5 minutes in work. Okay, so PHO SU MRM2 leak check timer, 5-minute timer has started. Okay, copy. So the pressure is stable. The timer has started. Copy. This is Kate. I copy the pressure.
Kate Rubins monitoring the pressure integrity of Poisk from the station side of the docking interface between the Poisk module and the Zvezda service module. If you recall the configuration, Poisk is on the space-facing side, or the zenith side of the Russian segment. Pirs docking compartment, which has been used exclusively for Russian spacewalks since its arrival back in September 2001, is on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment.
Sergei, both EVs 1 and 2, this is medical support team. Could you please report how you feel? EV1 feels great. EV2 feels good. Copy. Thank you so much, guys.
One other noteworthy statistic, an anniversary coming up. Today's work on the Zarya module by Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov to replace the hardware associated with a fluid flow panel that regulates the plumbing, the flow of liquids through the plumbing of the Zarya module of the International Space Station, comes 2 days shy, today's spacewalk, 2 days shy of the 22nd anniversary of the launch of Zarya as the first element of the International Space Station atop a Proton rocket on November 20th, 1998, from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
577. 577 is the pressure. Copy. 577. Please continue monitoring 2 more minutes. It's a firm continue monitoring.
Once again, if you're just joining us, Sergei Ryzhikov, the Expedition 64 commander, and flight engineer Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, inside the Poisk module, hatches closed. They're suited up in their respective Russian Orlan spacesuits, having conducted a partial depressurization of the airlock in a preliminary check of the integrity of the seals on that airlock that is being used for the first time today for support of a Russian spacewalk. Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov will open up the hatch to Poisk a short time from now, and then close the hatch back on Poisk and do a partial repressurization of the airlock in a test of the seals. They'll also do an inspection of those seals to make sure they're pristine before they open up the hatch for a final time and float outside to begin today's work.
Moscow station, after 5 minutes monitoring. The pressure is stable, 577, delta is 0. Okay, copy that. So delta P is 0, MRM2, 577, pressure. We copied that, and now on my go, you will proceed with your actions as per the procedure copy.
Значит, люки у нас герметичны.
So the hatches are not leaking, so Kate, you can go to PGO and close the hatch PGO S2SM, and we'll be standing by for your report on the hatch closure.
Хорошо, я сделаю. PGO пульт должен быть выключен и
Okay, I will do that.
Должна я собирать
Moscow.
с собой в FGB.
So am I taking Inaudible with me to FGB? Yes, you are going to PGO and close PGO S2SM hatch, and we'll be standing by for your report on that, Kate. All right? I will do that, and I will transition to PGO. Copy. EV1 and EV2. So you are going to the next page of Q card 5, sheet 1, step 8, Orlan purge, start of pre-breathe.
So far, so good. Good integrity on the hatch seals to the Poisk module. Kate Rubins will complete the closure of a series of hatches at the docking interface between Poisk and the Zvezda service module before she makes her way back toward the Zarya module and the U.S. segment of the station. Meanwhile, that will set the stage for Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov to continue breathing pure oxygen to purge the nitrogen out of their bloodstreams and prevent any condition known as the bends or decompression sickness from occurring once they do step outside a short time from now.
This is Kate. I am in PGO. How do you copy me, Moscow? EV1 copies you. Well, the EV2 also copies you. And we are in Moscow standing by for the hatch closure. I am closing the hatch. As soon as I'm done, I will report it. Copy, Kate. EV1, EV2, you can start working step 8, Orlan purge, start of pre-breathe. It's Q card number 5. Copy, Q card number 5 is ready.
Хорошо.
Sounds good.
At the completion of pre-breathing, once the nitrogen has been purged from their bloodstreams, Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov will complete the initial depressurization of Poisk down to vacuum and open up the Poisk hatch to inspect the hatch seals. Once that hatch has been opened, they will then close the hatch back up and do a partial repressurization to about 260 millimeters of mercury in one final check of the integrity of those seals.
Start timer.
So
you can see the timer there, and it will be incrementing, and also the pressure for EV1 is 005, and the same for EV2. Copy. Now, during 5 minutes, you will stand by looking at the timer incrementing, and we will have to get not less than 250 atmospheres at the end of it all. So EV1 has 89, EV2 has 90 reading now. Copy. Okay, so the purge is going on. Copy.
Everything going very smoothly with this check of the integrity of the Poisk module seals in this initial depressurization, repressurization exercise to validate Poisk for use as an airlock for Russian spacewalks, the first of which will be occurring imminently as Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov continue pre-breathing pure oxygen.
PGO SU hatch is closed. Copy your report. Kate, PGO SU SM hatch is closed. Good news. Thank you, Kate.
Kate Rubins, of course, launched with Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov on the Soyuz MS-17 spacecraft from the Baikonur Cosmodrome back on October 14th.
Sergey, скажи, пожалуйста,
Sergey, when is the timer now? 2 minutes are left. 2:42 is the reading of the timer.
They are beginning their 6th week on board the International Space Station and, of course, have been joined by the 4 crew members of the Crew Dragon Resilience who arrived at the space station late Monday night. A 7-person crew now on board for the next 6 months. Rubins, Ryzhikov, and Kud-Sverchkov will return home in April as the Resilience crew then will be joined by both the Russian crews on a Soyuz vehicle and the next Crew Dragon crew, the Crew 2 crew, that will be commanded by NASA astronaut Shane Kimbrough. Once again, Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov soon to begin the first spacewalk of their respective careers. Ryzhikov now flying for the 2nd time in space. This is Kud-Sverchkov's first flight into space. Again, the 232nd spacewalk in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades, and the 8th spacewalk out of the International Space Station in 2020. Ryzhikov will be wearing the suit bearing the red stripes, helmet camera number 20, that you'll see in a ghostly figure on the lower right-hand side of your screen once the 2 cosmonauts are outside of the Poisk module. Kud-Sverchkov will be wearing the suit bearing the blue stripes as EV2, or extravehicular crew member number 2. His helmet camera number will be 18.
PSS Delta is 415 for EV1 and 415 for EV2. Okay. Now, please transfer PSS into the pre-breathe position and stand by for the message purge normal. Copy. So now we have this message purge normal for EV1 and the same for EV2. Now you have to see, you will see the pre-breathe screen right now, and the timer will be incrementing in the corner of the screen. And the time of the pre-breathe start 14:013.
Принято, 14:13, хорошо.
14.13.
Давление в скафандрах.
Copy that.
Скажите мне
And
сейчас.
what about the pressure in the spacesuit, guys?
007 первый.
007 for EV1, 007 for EV2 is the spacesuit pressure. Copy, thank you.
Команде начнем работать.
Now you will start working the next step on my go.
Принято.
Copy.
Можно начинать работать.
You can start working. Step 9, pressure equalization in MRM2 and PHO. Between MRM2 and PHO, page 9, Q card number 5.
Сергей 1, это фрагмент 5, лист 2.
This is Q card 5, sheet 2, step 9, pressure equalization between MRM2 and PHO. Okay, copy. Q card 5, sheet 2, step 9, copy.
Можно работать.
You can start performing step 9, Sergey.
Принято.
Copy.
Перевожу в наддув.
So I'm transitioning to repress until 01, and then
Дезонация сброс отсека.
the
Можно работать.
free breathe airlock. Yes, it's a go. You can start. So I have press in on BSS. So the pressure is
Есть 01 по УДС.
decreasing. So 01 on the star.
This is the repressurization of Poisk to enable Roscosmos and Kud-Sverchkov to complete the pre-breathe of pure oxygen, cleansing any nitrogen that is residually residing in their bloodstreams.
On the Orlan.
They then will conduct a depressurization to vacuum of the Poisk airlock before opening up the hatch for the first of 2 hatch openings, all part of this preliminary check of Poisk and validating its capability to support today's spacewalk.
Is eliminated, and I'm proceeding.
Есть открытие.
КВД-ПХО СУ is open. КВД-ПХО СУ is open.
Видишь,
The pressure is decreasing slowly, but it is
Текущий растет.
increasing on MV, so it is 630. And what about the pressure in the spacesuit? The current one is 012 for EV2.
МИМ-2 645.
It is 645 in MRM2. The current pressure in MRM2 645.
И PHO по маневрокометру 670.
This is a view from an external camera on the International Space Station showing the Poisk airlock, the module itself, which has to this point served as a docking port for arriving Russian Soyuz vehicles, first launched on November 10th, 2009, and installed 2 days later upon its arrival at the station, today to be used for the first time as an airlock in support of Russian spacewalks.
Маневрокометр в МИМ-2 по
MRM2 MV pressure is 755, and the tendency to increase. Kate, what about PHO pressure, tunnel pressure? Kate, Moscow. 658 is the pressure in PHO. Copy, PHO 658. So what is the spacesuit pressure, Sergey? 01 for the EV1 and 02 for the EV2. Copy. You can proceed to the next Q card number 5, sheet 3, step 10, MRM2 PHO depressed to 550 millimeters. Copy. Kate also copies.
Будешь готов и комментируй свои действия.
EV1, when you are ready, please give a running commentary. Okay, step 10. Q card 5.
Фрагмент 5, вниз 3.
Sheet 3.
Будем открывать КСДСО.
We will open KSDSO, bleed to 550 millimeters.
Контролем по времени.
Controlling the time, and then
КСДСО.
I will close KSDSO valve. Yes, that's right. It's open KSDSO. When the pressure is 550, you close the valve KSDSO.
Принято.
Copy. KSDSO valve is open. I have LED. The timer has started. The current pressure is 730, so 720, 630, 620. Now it is 600 even. Copy, Sergey. 580 now is the pressure reading. 570, 560. Copy. 555. I'm closing KSD valve. The KSD is closed. The pressure starts increasing again. It is 560. The current pressure reading. Copy. 65 now. Please monitor it on the timer. 45 seconds. Sounds good. And send the command to close KVD PHO S2. After the command goes through, you will have to inhibit this command. Okay, copy. I'm sending the command to close KVD equalization valve PHO S2. 14:20 is the time. The LED is not illuminated. I'm sending the inhibit. The inhibit is sent. Permission is not illuminated now. The MRM2 pressure is 580. Kate, we are standing by for the PHO pressure stabilization now. 5 minutes. Okay, copy. This is Kate. What is PHO pressure when it all started?
Сейчас хромонавокометр, текущее давление это 595,9.
Okay, the current pressure is 695. Sergey, on the ATU, could you please release the transmission button? Copy. Will you reach Sergey to? Yeah, I will try.
Так, передача, да?
The transmission, yes, that's right. What about line 2? I should leave it? Yes, leave it as is. It is the left one. Yes, left lower one.
Так, достаешь?
Can you reach it? Let me try. This is EV1. Guys, don't rush. You know, the stabilization needs to be for 5 minutes, so there is no hurry at all. So we did not hear each other when it was released. Now we pressed it again, the transmission button. Sergey, so could you please repeat? There was a dropout. We did not hear. So what happened? When we released the transmission button, the communication between EV1 and 2 disappeared. So as soon as we pressed it, we started hearing each other again. So you pressed it again. Yes, that's right. Copy. Okay, so let's leave this configuration for now. Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston, a view of the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. which is currently flying from northwest to southeast at an altitude of 259 statute miles over the northwest Pacific Ocean. Everything on board in great shape. The 5 U.S. OS crew members, U.S. Orbital Segment crew members, Kate Rubins, Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, Soichi Noguchi, the latter 4 having arrived aboard the Crew Dragon Resilience late Monday night to form a 7-person crew on board the orbital outpost. Everyone in good shape. The 5 U.S. OS crew members currently working inside on a variety of tasks, including utilization, as well as transferring equipment from Resilience over to the International Space Station. Meanwhile, Rubins has completed her work in support of the preparation of the cosmonauts on board Expedition 64 Commander Sergei Ryzhikov and Flight Engineer Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, who are inside the Poisk module conducting a methodical series of tasks on a checklist to depressurize the Poisk, repressurizing it, and then depressurizing it again prior to opening up the spacewalk hatch. In this, the first ever use of Poisk as an airlock. This is the first tentative step in the ultimate decommissioning of the other module on the opposite side of the Russian segment, the Pirs docking compartment that has served both as a docking port and as a spacewalking airlock since it was launched in September of 2001. Pirs next year will be disposed of through the use of a Progress resupply vehicle. Progress will be launched, will dock to Pirs, and then it will be detached from the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment and deorbited to clear the decks for the launching of the Nauka multipurpose laboratory module, a huge 22-ton module, 43 feet in length, 13.5 feet in diameter, that will be launched on a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome to replace Pirs and serve both as a research laboratory as well as a docking port and an airlock for Russian spacewalks.
5-minute stabilization time is over. KVD-PGO S2 valve should be closed manually by you. Sounds good. KVD-PGO SM. What position again, Moscow? Closed. KVD-PGO SM valve should be closed manually. KVD-PGO SM is in the closed position now. Copy, Kate. Now, what about PHO pressure on MV? 599 is the current pressure. Copy, Kate. 599. Okay, start 5-minute timer to monitor the pressure. Copy. Inaudible from EV1. Sergei 1 and 2. So pressure gauge pressure in your spacesuit. 018 for EV1 and 018 for EV2. Great. And so what about the pre-breeze timer? How much time is left? 15 minutes, 45 seconds. Copy, that's good.
We are in the very early stages of today's activities that will ultimately lead to Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov floating outside of the Poist airlock to begin their work for the day. Once outside, they have about 5.5 hours of spacewalking tasks to complete, including the replacement of the hardware for a fluid flow regulator that does just what the name suggests, provides the right regulation of fluids to flow through the plumbing of the Zarya module of the International Space Station. The spacewalk occurring 2 days shy of the 22nd anniversary of the launch of Zarya on a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome as the first element of the International Space Station. They then will make their way to disconnect a telemetry antenna called a Transit B antenna that is connected at the interface between the Zvezda service module and the Pirs docking compartment, and reconnected to the interface to the Poisk module, the first of many, many steps in the months ahead that will lead to the decommissioning of Pirs as a spacewalking airlock and a docking port for arriving Russian vehicles. They will retrieve a bracket that is housed on the outside of Pirs that contains a series of material science experiments. They'll clean a window on the Zvezda service module and redirect a thruster impingement monitoring unit on the Poisk module, all part of today's spacewalk. Once it begins, the spacewalk not yet underway, it will begin with the initial opening of the hatch to the Poisk module, following this series of activities to test the integrity of Poisk in terms of holding pressure, both through a depressurization and repressurization set of activities.
Скажите, пожалуйста,
Sergey,
ПХО по моновакуметру.
tell us the current pressure in PHO for the MV. It is 600,
Принято.
so it is 600. We copy.
Кейт, 5 минут
Kate,
контроля прошло. Доложите
5
давление
minutes
ПХО по моновакуметру.
are down. What's the pressure in PHO for the MV?
Давление ПХО по моновакуметру это 601.
And the PHO pressure per MV is 601. 601. Copy, and please proceed on my go from now on.
Кейт, значит,
Kate,
давление в ПХО 601.
so PHO pressure is 601. So now we open cover the valve, cover the PGO SM, and equalize the pressure between PHO and FGB. Copy.
KVD, PGO, SM.
Cover the
PGO SM is in position open. Copy, Kate, and please monitor the pressure in PGO per MV and in FGB till the pressures are equalized. So what is the pressure in FGB right now per MV? 694 is the current pressure.
Not connected.
And in FGB, unintelligible.
Number 2.
Copy.
СКБ, текущее давление по мановаккумулятор это 735.
And in FGB per MV, current pressure is 735. Copy. That's good. We copy. 735.
У вас какое давление в скафандрах сейчас?
And operator 1 and operator 2, EV1 and EV2.
И осталось 8,40 на дистурацию.
So,
давление в минус 682.
Это хорошо.
just wanted to report that for the first suit, it's 017 and 018, and 682 is the pressure, and the time for the desaturated, for the pre-breathe that we have left is 8:40. Copy.
Пожалуйста, еще какое давление в МИМИ-2?
And what is the, could you come again, what's the pressure in MRM2? 682 is the pressure in MRM2.
You're hearing the interpretation of communications between the flight controllers of the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov on the outskirts of Moscow and the two cosmonauts, Sergei Ryzhikov and Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, who are inside the Poisk module, currently pre-breathing pure oxygen as part of the validation of Poisk to be used as an airlock for Russian spacewalks, which it will today for the first time. They conducted a partial depressurization of Poisk, now pre-breathing pure oxygen. They will open up the hatch to Poisk after completing the depressurization down to vacuum a short time from now, inspect the seals around the hatch to make sure that they're in good shape before closing the hatch and doing a partial repressurization prior to depressurizing Poisk for one final time and opening up the hatch to float outside to begin their spacewalk today.
Pressure. Per MV, 734.
Monitoring pressures inside the Zvezda service module is NASA flight engineer Kate Rubins, who helped the cosmonauts suit up earlier this morning in their Russian Orlan spacesuits. The International Space Station and its 7 occupants flying from northwest to southeast across the Pacific Ocean in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator.
734. And somewhere in between 734 and 735. Okay. And in FGB, the pressure is approximately the same. FGB PGO pressure is 734.5.
Давайте с вами
Copy.
ПГО-СМ переведем в
All right, let's put the KVD valve in electrical control mode. Copy, in work. All right, KVD PGO SM is in electrical control mode.
Принято. Хорошо.
Copy, that's good. Sergei 1 and Sergei 2, we are done with the verifying at OPHO leak check, and the hatches are leak tight, and we are ready to continue with the pre-breathe. Okay, we understand, and we have 5 minutes left on the timer. Copy.
Sergei,
just wanted to ask you to prepare cue card 6, step 12. All right, I have it in front of me.
И Сергей 1, Сергей 2, давайте выполним с вами пункт 12.1.
Please, let's put 12.1 in work. Only step 12.1 to prep control. All right, pneumatic valve is off, regulator prime. So we have prime first and second. Tanks. First, prime, and then second. EV2. All right, stand by. We have it as I have it as prime 2. Copy. The pump and the fans for EV1 and EV2 are on. The transmitter for EV1 is on, and I confirm the same for the EV2. For breathe, we have in the valve in position open. Okay, we copy. That is good. Let's stand by for the end of the countdown, and then proceed per my go. All right, we are standing by for the next 3.5 minutes.
Сергей 1, 2. Количество времени.
Sergey 1 and Sergey 2. How much is on the pre-breathe timer? 1.5 minutes. Copy.
Moscow,
Moscow, we are done with the pre-breathe. And the counter started implementing. How copy? We copy. Please prepare to perform step 12.2, MRM2 depress, and please do it on my go. We copy.
Сергей, можем начинать работать.
Sergey, you can put step 12.2 in work. Copy.
Здесь мы с вами
So
включаем.
here we activate the injectors
Так точно.
in work.
Приступаем, включаем инжектор. Перевел инжектор.
We put the injector
Есть индикатор.
in the correct position.
5 минут счетчик пошел.
All right.
Правильно?
And we're standing by for the 5-minute timer.
Стравливаем давление до.
And we are going down on the pressure till
Значит, после включения инжектора
once
у нас
you
счетчики появились на дисплее в правом углу на 5 минут.
unintelligible the injector. Did you get the timers that are
Я 4:30.
with a countdown?
29.
All right, 29. Well, for me it's not there.
Так, Сергей 2.
Сергей,
Должна быть надпись инжектор.
EV2.
СС атмосфера.
You should get the injector like at O2 BSS,
Появилось уже 4:10 осталось.
and then the atmospheres, and then you would have the counter there. So yes, I do have it. All right, Sergey, open KVD SO valve and start depressing MRM2. Till what pressure?
Мы будем идти планово до 12 миллиметров.
12 millimeters, that's what we have planned. Please monitor the pressure in the
На фоне сброса. При
module and also in the suit.
По ДСК у каждого 0,35-0,4. И если мы эту проверку пройдем, откроем дальше.
So you would have to have 0.35, 0.34 in the suits and 350. All right, Kevedo SO is open. The current pressure is 530, and pressure is 3.9 for me as the SO opened at 1445. The current pressure is 480. We're monitoring the pressure drop till it gets to 350. 035, 034.
This is Mission Control Houston. If you're following along, the pre-breathe of pure oxygen by Roscosmos and Kud-Sverchkov inside the Poisk module airlock is complete. They have resumed the depressurization of the airlock down to vacuum before opening up the EVA hatch, or the spacewalk hatch, on the side of Poisk. That's out of the view that you just saw in this downlink video. We are in a handover between satellites on the tracking and data relay satellite system at the moment.
You can open.
Once the hatch is open, they will conduct an inspection of the seals around the hatch to make sure that they are free of any debris before closing the hatch once again and conducting a partial repressurization of Poisk to about 260 millimeters of mercury for a final leak check before they open the hatch one more time, and then we'll float outside to officially begin today's spacewalk that will be marked by a series of tasks, including the repositioning of an antenna from the interface between the Poisk and the Zvezda service module to the Poisk module, the first step in a long series of work that will result in the decommissioning of the Pirs docking compartment as an airlock prior to its disposal next year.
In work. As the 2 valve is open. Current pressure is 270. The sky is stable. And we are going to deactivate the injector in 2 minutes. So what's the counter? 1 minute, 15 seconds. Copy. That's good.
Следующий контроль.
The next step is when the pressure hits about 100 millimeters, that the VSS Orlan interface unit needs to be put in the correct position. So once you hit that pressure, please let me know. Copy. Will do. So you would have to put the SO valve in the position closed. All right, in 34 seconds. Copy. Sergey, second, what's on the count and what's on the timer for you? 26 seconds. All right. So once you get 0, 0, 0, you would be putting the pneumatic valve in the position closed. Please verify that the injector should be off. All right, counter is at 0. The pressure is 140, and we are putting the injectors in the off position. We are getting correct indications, and current pressure is 125, and we're standing by for the audio signal. And the pressure in the suits for both is 0.38. Copy? That's good. And we are standing by for your report regarding Orlan interface unit, that the pressure is 20 millimeters, 02 open for EVA. What's the pressure? The current pressure is 100. And we got the warning for both suits. We got the signal for both suits. Correction. All right. And then please be ready to put the VSS Orlan interface unit in position for EVA.
So with the pre-breathe of pure oxygen having been completed and everything checked out by the cosmonauts inside the Poisk airlock, that module's airlock now being depressurized down to vacuum prior to the opening of the hatch, that will mark the official start of the clock for today's spacewalk by Roscosmos and Kud-Sverchkov.
70 millimeters. Copy. Thank you. All right, the delta for pressure drop is slowing down. The current pressure is 15 millimeters. Sergey 2, we copy, and we are standing by when pressure in MRM2 is going to reach 20 millimeters. And then
when you hear the interpretation of the conversation between the Russian mission controllers in Korolyov and the crew inside Poisk, the reference to Sergey 1 is to Expedition 64 Commander Sergey Ryzhikov. Sergey 2 is Kud-Sverchkov.
Right. We are at 40 millimeters. We got another signal at 320.
Хорошо, принято. У обоих есть.
We got the signal for both suits. Copy, that's good.
Давление 30.
Pressure is 30.
Принято.
Copy.
Миллиметров давление в отсеке.
Pressure is 20 millimeters, and I am putting Orlan on the Orlan interface unit in O2 open EVA, and stand by till you reach 12 millimeters in MRM2 per MV. Copy, and current pressure is 18 millimeters in MRM2 per MV. Copy.
Миллиметров давление.
15 millimeters is the pressure in MRM2.
Сергей, повтори, пожалуйста.
Сергей?
Давление в скафандрах по ОДСК сколько?
So, what is the pressure in the suit for ODSK? 0.37
Хорошо.
and 0.38 for me. Okay, that's good. Pressure in MRM2 is 14 millimeters.
Давление 12
Copy. Once the pressure goes down to 12 millimeters, please put as the 2 valve in position closed, and then as the S or DC1 also afterwards. After the 2, put it also in position closed. Wilco.
Давление в отсеке 12 миллиметров. Закрываю.
And the pressure is 12 millimeters. I am closing as the 2 in as the 2 is in position closed, and I'm closing as the SO in position closed, and we are getting the message, the correct message. And what's the pressure in MRM2 currently? It is 11 millimeters. All right, please put step 13 in work. That's going to be MRM2 final leak check. So please monitor the pressure in MRM2 per MV. Copy. And please start the 5-minute timer. 5-minute timer has been started. That's good. Copy.
The pressure inside the Poisk airlock is approaching vacuum, at which point the hatch will be open by Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov, the first in a series of procedures that will lead to it being opened for a second time to permit the spacewalk to proceed, all part of the validation of the Poisk module to be used for Russian spacewalk activity, to ensure that the seals around the hatch to Poisk are clean and can hold pressure at a variety of different intervals in the depressurization, repressurization procedures.
Сереж, давление...
Sergey, what is the current pressure in MRM2? 2 minutes have elapsed.
Сейчас займу прежнее положение, чтобы точнее.
Let me get in the original position to make sure I get the clear reading. Okay.
11 миллиметров.
11 millimeters.
Принято 11, хорошо.
Copy, 11 millimeters. That's good.
Чтобы вы понимали, там после окончания
Just for your information,
контроля герметичности
once leak checks are complete,
у нас с вами фрагмент, связанный с переходом
we'll
на автономное питание, выполняться не будет. Мы
will not
остаемся на
do
электрофазе
the steps
бортовой колодке,
to switch to autonomous power. You will stay on the umbilicals on using onboard
выходного люка.
power, and
Будете делать.
you will start opening the EV hatch with the RTOM guiding you. Okay, copy.
После открытия осмотра я
Once you
возвращаюсь
open
на связь, мы
EV
с вами
hatch
будем
and
работать
inspect it,
по надуву ПХО до 260
we'll
по проверке
refresh special to
герметичности
260
выходного
millimeters,
люка.
and we will do the EV hatch leak check.
Принято.
Copy.
Again, the series of steps you're hearing being relayed to the two cosmonauts from the Russian flight controllers in Korolyov, all part of the checkout of the Poisk module's airlock seals, the hatchway out into the vacuum of space. Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov are hooked up inside Poisk to life support systems. They will go on internal Orlan suit power as soon as they are ready to exit the Poisk airlock a short time from now. First, the hatch will be opened to Poisk. That will start the clock running on today's spacewalk, the 232nd, in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. They will inspect the seals around the circumference of the hatch before closing the hatch again and conducting a partial repressurization of the Poisk hatch and the airlock to about 260 millimeters of mercury. One final leak check will be performed before they depressurize Poisk again down to vacuum, and then they'll open up the hatch for a second time and float outside to begin today's spacewalking work.
Sergey,
Sergey, 5 minutes are up. What is the current pressure reading? MRM2 pressure is 11 millimeters. Okay, copy. That's good. Leak checks are successful.
Принято.
The pressure monitoring was successful correction, and now you'll proceed with Artyom guiding you. Copy. Artyom, go ahead. Hello, guys. How are you feeling? All is well?
Хорошо, тогда я сначала пару слов вам.
All right. So let's do a quick check up just to review all the steps. We'll be working outside. Do not rush. There is no need to rush. Move your hands and arms carefully. Make sure that you're not tired because you will be working for a long time. So make sure you work carefully.
Хорошо, тогда
Make sure that you last.
который хочу вас попросить, это
And then, first of all,
светильники.
I wanted to ask you to activate the helmet lights and cameras.
Так, второй светильник исключил.
EV2, the light is on.
Принято.
Copy.
Камера включена второго.
And the camera is on for EV2. This is EV1. The lights and cameras are on. Okay, copy. Lights and cameras on for both. And the camera LED is not illuminated. This is EV1. Well, I confirm activation now. Copy.
Тогда следующий момент.
Okay, so the next point, please look around and make sure that everything is tethered and your hooks are secured on the rails. This is EV2. I confirm that it is secured.
Принято.
Copy. This is EV1. Let me rehook the hook. Stand by one. I guess it will be better to come up from that side. Not really that convenient. This is EV hatch. My hook is closed. And I moved it onto a different location. Copy.
Тогда начинаем процедуру по открытию люка.
You're going to start the EV hatch opening procedure. Get the hatch tool to open the hatch, and please put the hatch tab, in the position, in the operating position. Copy. The latches or latch handle is fully deflected. Copy. And let me reposition myself. The two tabs are facing each other, and I can see that it is in the open position. Something is in the way. Am I bumping against the tether? It's pulling.
With the pre-breathe of pure oxygen complete and the Russian flight controllers happy with what they're seeing in terms of the leak checks on the Poisk module airlock, Roscosmos and Kud-Sverchkov are checking all of their tools and tethers before they get the go-ahead to open up the hatch that will start the clock running on today's spacewalk.
Yes, I can see it.
The International Space Station currently traveling over the South Atlantic, orbiting from southwest to northeast at an altitude of 260 statute miles.
Bottle in the way. Okay, so let's do it like this. Yes, that's excellent. The tab is now in the operating position. Copy. And you're going to install the hatch tool on the hatch drive shaft. It is installed. Copy. And I'm ready now. You're going to start the rotation, and please monitor the operation of rollers. Rollers are engaged. Copy. Copy. All the rollers on my side are visible. Well, the feather got wrapped around it. So move it back. It's not moving. Okay, stand by. So you need to move it until it's quick. Correct. We had a quick com drop out. We're going to have a com drop out. Okay, so we're standing by for AOS. Yes, copy, standing by. Okay, that's more convenient. And I'm going to reposition myself so it's more convenient for you as well. So now it's sort of funny. Well, I guess I will try to move my legs somewhere.
Длиннее, наверное, сделать фал, да?
Okay, should I lengthen the tether? Yes. Yes, we're supposed to be LOS right now, but we can still talk. The comm is intermittent, so let's wait for 30 seconds. All right.
Хорошо, продолжаем.
All right, you're going to proceed. And could you please pull the handle all the way to hard stop? Copy. And hold it until the pressure drop begins. Okay, standing by. Okay, one second. Yes. And I can visually see dust. Okay, the pressure is decreasing. Current reading is 5 millimeters. Copy. And please hold it in that position. We're not getting the video now, so please provide detailed commentary on the hatch opening. Okay, copy. 4 millimeters. This is the current pressure reading in the module. Copy. Okay, so I tapped on it, and it's 1 millimeter, actually less than 1 millimeter. Okay, copy. So you're going to open the hatch. Stand by. Sure. Let me turn around. Sure.
Был небольшой перерыв в связи.
We had a quick LOS. How are you doing, guys?
Одновременно. Да.
Yes.
Повторите, пожалуйста, тут помехи.
Please repeat your last. We did not copy. We had intermittent comm. Well, we're opening the hatch.
Готовы к открытию?
Are you ready for hatch opening? Well, the hatch is moving a bit, but it's coming back to its initial position. So we'll try to pull it carefully, both of us. Okay, and Sergey, move to the right. Copy.
Насколько можно?
As much as you can.
Достанешь? Не, пока нет.
Can you reach it? No, not yet.
Нет. Чехол. Вот так вот.
Okay, like this.
Поросенок, здесь конус.
All right.
Взялся, давай.
Okay, got it.
Давай. Раз, два, три.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
Такое ощущение, что подпружиненный, да?
I have a feeling that it is spring-loaded. Yeah.
Пробуйте тогда еще.
Okay, so go ahead and try.
Серега, можешь заглянуть туда? Открыть градусов на
Okay, it's open.
20.
It's approximately 20 to 25 degrees open, and I can see it on my side. The hatch seals are all even, and the position on the clock is 9 o'clock, and then 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. It's all even, no damage, and I do not see anything on the contact surface. And I have inspected the contact surface. I do not see any FOD or residual stuff. Copy. And I'm trying to turn around closer to the hatch. Okay, let me pull it further down. At 3 o'clock, this is what I'm expecting, and I am expecting the area from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock and up to 8 o'clock. It's sort of interesting here. There's something, well, look, there's a piece of something, maybe a piece of tape, but other than that, the rubber seal is clean. I do not see any damage. And let me move down a bit. And did you manage to open the hatch fully? Okay, I keep inspecting the seals from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I do not see any damage here. Just small pieces of dust. I guess, yes, you can see that the dust coming out of here from the seals. And visually, I do not see any damage. And if necessary, we can photograph it. Yes, please do so. It is necessary. Then go ahead and open the hatch fully and use the GoPro camera to photograph, to film the perimeter.
Нет, за 201 панель фиксировать нет.
No, it's not necessary. Yes, I think so too. So I just need to hold on to something. Okay, I'm holding the hatch and holding you too. Okay. Okay, there it is. Twister is removed. Twister is on and it's recording. Copy. I'm proceeding with the filming, starting from 12 o'clock position and moving clockwise as much as I can reach. All right, and you're going just fine. Okay, let me go. All right, that's excellent, like this. Going from 12 o'clock to... Okay, should you just give it to me? All right. Are you holding it? Yes. Okay, so I will keep...
This is Mission Control Houston. The hatch to the Poisk module is open for the first time ever. To officially begin today's spacewalk, we are standing by for an official time from the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov, outside of Moscow.
Legs are pushing against
the two cosmonauts who have worked their way through all of the pre-breathe procedures and the depressurization of Poisk up to this point to validate the airlock's integrity are inspecting the seals around the circumference of the Poisk airlock hatch. So as soon as we get an official start time for today's spacewalk, we'll pass it along. But again, the hatch is open to Poisk, the 232nd spacewalk in support of space station assembly and maintenance underway.
So did you copy? Filming is complete. All right. Copy. You're going to close out filming. The hatch, and you're going to close the hatch. Copy.
Проверьте еще раз, осмотрите, что
ничего нет на прибавочных поверхностях. The contact surface once again to make sure that there is no spot, that nothing came out during the hatch opening, and please check rubber seals, make sure that they're clear of any debris. Okay, there is nothing on the contact surface here. All the dust came out mostly. Contact surface is clean on my side.
And flight controllers in Moscow now confirming the official start time for today's spacewalk, 9:12 a.m. Central Time, 10:12 a.m. Eastern Time. with the opening of the hatch to the Poisk module. Again, today's official start time for the spacewalk by Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov, 9:12 a.m. Central, 10:12 a.m. Eastern Time.
Should I move it? Yes, go ahead. And I'm ready. I made space for you here. Okay, here it is. Okay, stand by. Your arm is in the way. It's pushing against it. Okay, excellent. Got it. I'm ready to close it. Let's put it in the operating position. Okay, copy. And you're going to...
The next step here will be for Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov to close this hatch once again and repressurize Poisk partially to about 260 millimeters of mercury in one final leak check before they open up the hatch a second time and then will float outside to begin their work in the void of space. But again, the clock will not be reset. The clock is moving now on today's spacewalk and will continue to tick away with the start time of 9:12 a.m. Central, 10:12 a.m. Eastern Time.
I tethered it there. Okay. Do you see the rollers? Yeah, and they're moving in. Okay, so move it all the way to stop, the hard stop until it clicks. Okay, excellent, great. All right, Sergey, you're going to remove the hatch tool. Why?
Ну, на всякий случай, чтобы...
Well, just in case, to make sure it doesn't get damaged during repress. Copy. It is removed now. Copy. And I will pass it on to Dima. Copy.
Сереж, это Дмитрий.
Sergey, this is Dmitry.
В фрагментах.
So, please find your card 10. This is a separate procedure for repress, and please press it in step 3 and then repress to 260 millimeters. When you're ready, we will start. Okay, we'll retrieve the cue card now. It is slightly off to the side here.
Размещайтесь в районе рабочего места.
Yes, please move to your working area and please set up the cue card.
Фрагмент 10.
Cue card 10.
Фрагмент 10, шаг 3.
Cue card 10, step 3.
2 мим 2 до 260 мм.
MRM2 repress to 260 millimeters. Copy. That's affirmative. And we have the cue card. Well, if it's ready and set up, then you're going to start monitoring KSD2 valve. KSD2 and KSD2 valves are closed. On EVA support panel in MRM2, KSD2 is not illuminated. And I am opening KVD-PHO-S2. It is enabled now. And I confirm that LED is on. Copy. Starting the stopwatch and opening KVD-PHO-S2 valve. Copy.
Есть открытая
KVD-PHO-S2 valve is open. And the pressure is increasing. Please report current suit pressure and MRM2 pressure. Suit pressure is 0.35 and pressure gauge reading shows almost 30. Copy, that's good. Suit pressure is 0.3 for EV1 and for EV2 as well. And 70. Okay. It is less than 0.02 during the compression. Well, I don't think we'll get to that, actually. Okay, that's affirmative. Module pressure is 90. Copy. Suit pressure is 0.26. 0.26 for EV2. 1 minute is up. Copy. That's good. Module pressure is 120. 2 and 2. This is the current suit pressure reading. 0.22. Is that correct? Yes, 0.22. Okay.
Благодарю.
145. This is the module pressure, and Orlan pressure indicator shows 0.19 for EV1. Copy.
2 минуты.
2 minutes
Надуваем ПХО.
of repress up.
170.
PHO pressure in module is 170, and suit pressure is 0.16.
Хорошо.
Copy.
Мы с вами идем к
That's
260.
good. We're moving to the pressure reading of 260. When you reach 260 in MRM2, you will close КВД ПХО СУ from EVA support panel in MRM2.
Так точно.
Yes, that's affirmative. We confirm all.
Если у нас
And standing by for 5 minutes pressure stabilization. If you don't get to 260, then we will be monitoring the pressure during 6 minutes.
Принято.
Copy.
За 3 минуты надулись до 200.
We've repressed to 215 in 3 minutes, and suit pressure is 0.1 for EV1, 0.1 for EV2. Copy. Copy.
За 3,5 минуты
3.5 minutes. We have repressed to 240.
0,08.
Suit pressure is 0.08. Copy. Good.
давление.
Current pressure reading is 250. Copy.
Кейт, скажите, пожалуйста, давление в ПХО по молокометру.
Kate, what is the PHO pressure on MV pressure gauge? Inaudible.
260, закрываем. КВД.
260, and then closing КВД PHO valve. Copy.
У меня 0,05.
And the suit pressure is 0.03 and 0.05. LED is off, and I am inhibiting, and I confirm that LED is off now, and I'm setting the 5-minute timer. Copy.
4,45.
4:45. Copy.
Запущен счетчик.
The timer is
Текущее давление.
set up now. Started now. The current pressure reading is 264.
Принято 264.
This is Kate. Current MV pressure gauge reading is in PHO is 292. Copy, Kate. 292.
This is Mission Control Houston. The hatch again closed to the Poisk module, and a partial repressurization of the module underway by Roscosmos and Kud-Sverchkov, being monitored on the other side of the Poisk service module interface by NASA flight engineer Kate Rubins. Once a final leak check is conducted, the Poisk will be depressurized back down to vacuum one more time, and the hatch reopened to enable Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov to move outside to begin their work for the day. The actual start time for the spacewalk was 9:12 a.m. Central, 10:12 a.m. Eastern Time, at the point at which the hatch was opened for the first time.
Two minutes are up. The module pressure is almost 264, or to be more precise, 263.5, but closer to 264. Copy. Station Moscow, MRM2 pressure reading. Sergei, could you please report it? 4 minutes have passed. The pressure is the same. 263.5, same pressure. Seconds before the...
All of this work being conducted by Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov to make sure that the seals are around the circumference of the Poisk airlock hatch and the airlock itself, to make sure pressure is holding the way it should be, is all designed to confirm that the airlock is good to go for future Russian spacewalks, as it begins the process of replacing the Pirs docking compartment as the venue from which Russian spacewalks will be conducted until the delivery of the Nauka multipurpose laboratory module next year, which will be installed on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the station after Pirs is detached and disposed of in the Pacific Ocean by a visiting Progress cargo ship.
Step 6, copy. Preliminary MRM2 leak check. It's in work. Copy. So we are standing by. So the current pressure is 263.5. So it should not be decrease of not more than 2 millimeters. So we are standing by for that. Yes, copy that. Kate copies.
While this work is ongoing in advance of Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov floating outside to begin their EVA work for the day, Kate Rubins has been monitoring activities in the Russian segment of the station. She helped Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov suit up earlier this morning, and she will help them out of their suits later today when the spacewalk is completed. The 4 astronauts who arrived on Monday night aboard the Crew Dragon Resilience following its launch on Sunday from the Kennedy Space Center atop a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. They're in the process of conducting scientific experiments, some early utilization, and transferring equipment and flight data files from Dragon over to the International Space Station for their 6-month mission as part of the Expedition 64 crew. You see from left to right, Kate Rubins, Victor Glover, Soichi Noguchi, Sergei Ryzhikov, Mike Hopkins, Shannon Walker, and Sergei Kud-Sverchkov.
Sergei 1.
Скажи, пожалуйста, давление в МИМе-2 по Манавату.
So could you please tell the MV pressure on MRM2?
Давление 263.
263.5, it is stable. No delta T. That sounds good. Copy. Proceed. Proceed monitoring. Yes, we still have 2.5 minutes left.
Подтверждаю.
We confirm.
Я привяжу, наверное.
EV1, could you please hold this? I will try to tie this up. Everything is fine.
Once outside of the Poisk airlock, Kud-Sverchkov will be first out, actually. He will once again check the seals around the airlock hatch to this newly employed module for Russian-based spacewalks. He'll install a protective ring around the hatchway to make sure that it doesn't incur any damage from any micrometeoroid particles during the course of the excursion that's expected to last up to 6 hours in duration. Ryzhikov will follow him outside, carrying an airtight container, within which is a brand new piece of hardware called a fluid flow regulator that he and Kud-Sverchkov will install on the Zarya module to replace an older unit. This piece of hardware will do just what the name suggests and regulate the flow of fluids through the plumbing on the Zarya module, the first component ever launched of the International Space Station, 2 days shy of its 22nd anniversary of that launch on a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, November 20th, 1998.
263.5 is the reading. 263.5 copy. Sounds good.
As you saw in that graphic just a moment ago, once outside, you'll identify Ryzhikov. He's wearing the Orlan suit with the red stripes as EV1, or extravehicular crew member number 1, the ISS commander for Expedition 64. He also will have a helmet camera bearing the number 20 that you'll see on your screen when we get views through the helmet cams that will be worn by the 2 spacewalkers. Kud-Sverchkov, EV2, will be wearing the Orlan suit with the blue stripes. His helmet camera is number 18. This is the first spacewalk for both cosmonauts.
Принято.
Copy.
У нас с вами well герметичен.
So the EV hatch is tight, so we will depress now from MRM2 depress. And in Q part 6, you will perform the following actions. You will have to control BSS EV position. Oh, okay, yes. Position is EV position, and TSD SOR should be open. Also, control the LED on the display, and after that, you will have to open TSD2 manually and depress after that. So the injector should not be activated, right? Inaudible. So KSD SO depress valve is open manually. KSD SO is open. I can confirm that because LED is illuminated on the panel.
Final leak checks of the Poisk module hatch being conducted before it is depressurized back down to vacuum one final time to enable the hatch to be opened, allowing Roscosmos and Kud-Sverchkov to float outside.
EV2 as well. 210 in the module. Pressure reading. Could you please report module pressure and spacesuit pressure? Copy. Will do. 190 is in the module. 015 for EV1. 015 is for EV2. Copy.
Kate, как вы меня слышите?
How do you copy? This is Dmitry regarding the depress-repress procedure. You know, there are some noises, interference. So 150 in the module. The pressure reading, yes, I can confirm we have some interference. Kate, how do you copy me? I copy you. Not so good, but I can copy you. Kate? We will have to equalize pressure between FGB and PHO. So KVD SM should be in the open position. You should be placed in the open position. Copy. KVD PHO SM in open position. It is in work. Copy. We are standing by for your report on that, Kate. 100 millimeters is the module pressure. Copy. 023 is the spacesuit pressure. Copy. 026. Inaudible. KVD PHO SM valve is open. Copy. Now, please equalize the pressure between FGB and PHO. Kate. Copy. In work. EV1 and EV2. Spacesuit pressure readings, please. And in the module as well. 75 is in the module, 029 for EV1. Okay, 75 is in the module, 029 is in the spacesuit. Copy. Module pressure is 50. 031 is the spacesuit pressure for EV1. Same for EV2. Copy. The module pressure is 35.35 and the spacesuit 034. Copy.
Heading down to vacuum one more time. The Poisk module is performing as advertised, and good spacesuits reported by Sergei Ryzhikov and Sergei Kud-Sverchkov.
When we reach 12 millimeters, we confirm. This is Kate. Unintelligible. Kate, you know, we did not copy your last. Could you please repeat PHO MV pressure reading? It is increasing. 724 is the current pressure, and it is still increasing. 724 PHO pressure. What about FGB pressure, Kate? It is being equalized. In FGB, the current pressure is 733. Copy 733. Kate, continue to equalize the pressure, Kate. Copy in work.
And as you can hear, the Russian flight controllers through the interpreter talking to Kate Rubins in the Russian segment of the International Space Station as she works to equalize pressure between Poisk and the different modules on the Russian side of the International Space Station, the precursor to Poisk going down to vacuum, enabling Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov to open the hatch one final time to begin the process of moving outside with their tools for the start of the tasks associated with today's excursion.
Module pressure is 12 millimeters, and I'm ready to close KSD2 valve and KSD-SO as well. If it's a go to close KSD and KSD-SO, so KSD2 is closed, Moscow, copy, and I'm closing KSD-SO valve. On the EV panel MRM2, the LED should not be illuminated. Yes, it is not illuminated. Copy, sounds good. It is 11 millimeters, actually, the pressure reading. Sounds good. Sergei. So please proceed. UCART 7, step 14, and you will start performing the step on my go. Copy. UCART number 7. Kate, what is MV PHO pressure and also FGB pressure reading? PHO MV 731. 731. 731 in PHO as well. Copy. So do I say it correctly that the pressure has been equalized? Yes. Yes, unfortunately, I cannot copy you very well. So now the valve in PHO-SM should be transitioned to electrical control, Kate. KVD PHO-SM valve should be in position of electrical control. Copy, Kate. It is in the electrical position. EV1, are you ready to work step 14 of the UCART 7? Yes, we are. So we are starting transition of the spacesuit to autonomous power. Copy. The temperature control held should be transitioned to position 6. Preliminary Orlan cool down. EV1 in position 6.
Cosmonauts about to switch their Orlan suits to internal battery power. Again, a Russian spacewalk measured from the time of hatch open to hatch close, unlike a U.S. spacewalk that is measured from battery power on U.S. extravehicular mobility units in the Quest airlock to airlock repress at the end of the spacewalk.
On the display, you should have the message PO2 prime. You know, we cannot copy you, Moscow. So what is the primary bottle, O2 bottle pressure? 415, inaudible. And what about the other reading? 22.5, inaudible. Copy. Now, BSS should be in the position closed. Copy. What about the covering on land fluid umbilical? Yes, after it is in the closed position, it will have to be capped. Copy. So O2 is in the position closed. What about the suit gauge pressure? 036 for EV1, 036 for EV2 is the spacesuit pressure. So can you see PO2 primary on your display? Come again. The primary O2 bottle pressure. Can you see it on your display? 415 for EV1 and 41 inaudible for EV2. Copy. Now you can cap the umbilicals and also work with the MLI flap. Copy in work. Sergey, could you please hold the cue cards here? Yes, give them to me. Try not to snag on anything. Good luck, guys. Thank you so much, Kate. So the umbilicals are kept and the electrical controllers of Orlan covered with MLI. Copy. Now you will have the go to egress very soon. So Artyom will support you in opening the EV hatch, and after that we will continue to transition to autonomous power after the hatch is open. Copy, and so we should not stow away the cue cards as yet. Yes, that's affirmed. Keep them close. Guys, now we will reopen the hatch. We will open it once again for the second time. Copy. So we will try to position ourselves comfortably. Now, use the hatch tool and place it in the working position. In work. The flag is in the work position, 19 degrees is the angle of the hatch 2, 90. Now put it onto the pin of the drive of the hatch, copy. Now,
So 11 years after its launch to the International Space Station, the Poisk module now being used as a spacewalking airlock for the first time, as Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov check out their tools and tethers, about to open up the airlock hatch for a second time that will enable them to float outside to begin their work.
the rollers are moving. Copy. Then the pusher handle should be pulled on towards yourself. Yes, and we are leaving the hatch tool here. Yes, so the pusher is being pulled towards us until hard stop. Copy. Can I start moving the hatch? What about the pressure? Is it down completely? Is it vacuum now? Yes, 0. Copy. Now you can open the hatch. Yeah, please retain the handle, hold the handle of the pusher and open the hatch. Hold that handle. Can you do it simultaneously? EV2? No, Joy. Okay, so I will hold it here from this side. I'm tightening it. And get ready.
And the hatch to the Poisk airlock once again open. And we should be seeing Ryzhikov and Kud-Sverchkov here any moment. Ryzhikov again will be wearing the Orlan suit with the red stripes as EV1. Kud-Sverchkov's Orlan suit will bear the blue stripes.
Stand by one. Let me reposition myself. You know, I have to put it back. Of course, there is a kink here. Copy. Okay, now. So we are removing the slack now. Copy. So the EV hatch is open and secured with the hook page 201. Now please install the protective ring, guys. Copy in work. Installing protective ring. So I am staying here, EV2, and you go ahead. Inaudible. Will there be sufficient length here for us? Well, let's see. Wait, you know, just stop doing that. I will use a different way of operating. So when you install the protective ring, please monitor that the cord is not in the hatch opening. Yes, we know that. So let us do it once again. this is enough. Maybe this is the best way to do it. Okay, the locks are open. The latches are open. I confirm. Now I have this mark right before me. I pressed it down. Now I have it transferred to this position and secured. That's it. You know, there is probably a longitude groove. Yes, I will test it right now. Now, yes, it is secured. The hooks are secured. Artyom, how did you copy? The protective ring is installed. The protective ring is installed. So Dima will support you from now on.
Сергей, мы сейчас продолжаем с вами переход на автономное питание скафандра.
We are transitioning into independent autonomous power for the suits, and that's going to be Q card 7 and step 16.
The cosmonauts have installed that protective ring around the circumference of the Poisk airlock hatch. That is a common procedure to make sure it is pristine for the duration of the spacewalk. And we should be seeing the two cosmonauts outside any moment now. Kud-Sverchkov will be first out of the hatch, followed by Ryzhikov.
Put power supply in autonomous power. And please deactivate primary pump. And then please put the transmitter in the off position. All right, we have everything. Transmitters, pump and fan are in required status for EV1 and EV2. So just wanted to make sure that you have for EV2, for Sergei 2, that your primary pump, fan, and transmitter are on. What is the U battery? 27.8 and 20 unintelligible for the second, for EV2. And then please deactivate the tow mode on the control panel and MRM2. Copy in work. And
и снимаем питание из К1.
Please
После этого
put SK1 and SK suit 1 and suit 2 power. Put it in the off position
Хорошо?
For the first and for the second.
Отключаю СК1, контролирую связь.
All right, I am putting suit 1 in autonomous power, and I'm standing by, verifying the lights. The LED is no longer illuminated. Is the umbilical still connected? It is still connected, so disconnect the umbilical. Copy and work. The umbilical has been disconnected. All right, electrical umbilical is disconnected. Do you read me well? You kind of, we do, just a little bit quiet. So,
питание.
For suit 1 and suit 2, please power them, disconnect them from station power. All right. We are disconnecting them, and then
Вначале снимаем питание на пол
so first you need to deactivate tow, heat exchange power, and then suit 1 and 2 should be put in off position. In work for the first suit. And the umbilical has been disconnected for suit 2.
Друг друга тоже слышите хорошо, да?
Do you read me well? Yes.
Закрываем электроразъемы скафандра клапанами FT.
So please close out the connectors for the Orlan suits with MLI. Done for suit for EV1 and for EV2. Copy, and then once the EV hatch is open, we will give you a go to activate sublimators. All right, we open the EV hatch and it has been secured. Copy. I am passing you on to Artyom. Copy. All right, guys. Are you ready to go? EV2 goes to MRM2SM handrail. And what about the sublimators? It's going to be on our go a little bit later. Copy. Hey, see it? Guys? We are going to be out of orbital night in a few seconds, and you will be able to see well. And so for sublimators, please start with suit 1 and then proceed with suit 2. Well, Sergei is only halfway out through the hatch. What time do we turn on the sublimators? If you have...
Our first view of Sergei Kud-Sverchkov exiting the Poisk module airlock, the first time this has been used for a Russian spacewalk. Kud-Sverchkov and Sergei Ryzhikov, who will follow him momentarily, both conducting the first spacewalks of their careers. We're now 54 minutes into the spacewalk that began at 9:12 a.m. Central, 10:12 a.m. Eastern Time, with the opening of the hatch to the Poisk module for the first time after a series of leak checks and validation tests on the integrity of the seals around this airlock being used for the first time for an EVA.
Well, congratulations. You are out. So I am outside as well, connected to the handrail, and I am putting my sublimator in the... I'm activating my sublimator. So for EV2 as well, right? Yes. So TO indicated TO is in off position, and then temperature control handle is in position 3. We copy. All right. So EV1, temperature control handle is in position 6, and now I'm putting it in position 3. Let's just give a few seconds for Sergei to situate himself. And then I have the filter covered up. Okay, we are standing by.
Flying 260 statute miles over the Pacific Ocean, the International Space Station moving into an orbital sunrise, moving from northwest to southeast on this orbit of the Earth. Sergei Kud-Sverchkov outside of the Poisk airlock, soon to be joined by Sergei Ryzhikov, who will hand him a package of hardware containing a new fluid flow regulator for the Zarya module, the first component ever launched for the International Space Station 22 years ago this coming Friday.
All right, and let me unreel it here. All right, there we go. Don't pull yet. And the airtight container have been secured. Does that look good to you? For you? Yes. And one hook.
Both cosmonauts now outside. They're working with this so-called airtight container that includes the new fluid regulator for the Zarya module that will replace an older unit. That's the first task on tap for the two cosmonauts, now that they have confirmed the integrity of the Poisk module through a series of depressurization and repressurization exercises and leak checks of all of the hardware for that airlock, in use today for the first time.
Just be careful. Careful. All right, I have secured it. I have secured hook 2. Could you hold it for a second? Let me move away a little bit. Okay. I'm moving. Careful. So, I'm getting that short hook. Sergei, 1, as far as I understand, you're egressing MRM, right? That's right. And what about the kit? It's on the opposite side. And I am there as well. Okay, so there is enough space for you, right? I can't see right now, but I think the space is sufficient. Okay, we'll be standing by for Sergei 1 report once you are out of the MRM. Okay. The hook is in my pocket there. And is it getting out? Nope. Fighting. I'll try and rotate it a little bit. Sergei 1 and Sergei 2. When you get a chance, you can put the heat exchanger handle in the position 0 and then put the neutral position. And if you can actually set the heating. I'm holding the container right now, so. Okay, I got it out. It's really not being cooperative. All right. I think my long one is headed in the same direction as yours. Sergey, could you please connect that hook from the kit to under your right arm, a little bit closer to the handrail. Done. All right. I have secured the adjustable tether to the handrail for EV1. And I'm egressing. And the sun is out. Need to probably set it to half. Is everything looking good on your side? Yes. EV2 is out. EV1 is out. We copy.
Давайте проведем легкую адаптацию.
All right, guys.
Смотрите, где вы, как находитесь.
You can take a break. Just orient yourself in regards to the modules, where to go, how to proceed, and we can start the translation on your go. Copy. Right. We are just as we have planned. We see that. Sergey, do you have the flow control valve adjustments done? Is ISR on? Well, I'm putting the warm-cold handle in position 6. Gennady Mikhailovich, do we have you go? All right, just put the handle at 0 first. Please verify temperature control handle at 0. Please verify that you're in mid-position for the switch between warm and cold, and you have a go to perform the flow control valve adjustment. Done. We copy. Sergey, I'm going to take it over. Sounds good. I got it. And I hand it over. And I'm putting the warm-cold switch to cold and then to mid-position. And the flow control valve adjustment is in position 2. We copy. I am ready. All right, we are ready for translation. Great.
At the bottom of your screen, with the backpack and the red stripes, is Station Commander Sergei Ryzhikov. Just above him is Sergei Kud-Sverchkov. They have all of their tools together. Their suits are configured properly, and they're about to make their way over to the Zarya module, just a few feet away, to start the replacement of an aging piece of hardware called a fluid flow regulator that enables all of the plumbing to operate properly inside the Zarya module.
I am catching it here. What? The container.
Так.
All right, the adjustable rod is connected to handrail 6011. We copy.
Постоянный 6023.
And the regular tether to 6023. Do you see me? Do you see my back? Can I fit there? Yes. I can see it, and you fit just fine. Okay, adjustable. Tether is connected to 6013. All right, here is the tether. Watch out for the tether. I see it. I'm going to move it. So 6012 is where I have my tether. Okay. Let me get a little bit closer. Can you reach it? I should. I have to. Just move cautiously. Are you going to move the tether for the container? I will.
And our first helmet camera view from Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, the number 18 in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, as he begins the process of making his way over to the Zarya module. He's being joined by Sergei Ryzhikov. We're still waiting on his helmet camera to be activated. That will bear the number 20 in the lower right-hand corner, as they will conduct the first of the tasks for today's spacewalk, that being the replacement of a fluid flow regulator for the Zarya module.
So how are you see?
1 hour, 10 minutes into today's spacewalk that is expected to last up to 6 hours.
The container is here, right? Yes. Okay, now let's hook to the handrails, and I'm moving as close as possible to you. Okay? And I'm monitoring the situation. So this transit bay, it should be below me.
Как раз бухта транзита, она, да, правильно.
Yes, this bay, transit bay, that's where it should be.
Над вами как раз БПДО находится.
BPDO should be above you. We do see it out of the corner of my eye. Well, You do, not me.
Да. И при перемещении, ребят,
Okay, I can see it a little bit.
при перемещении следите, чтобы фалы не
And as you are translating, please make sure you don't get your tethers tied up. Okay, I have moved my hooks and I'm working with the container now. All right, I am secured. Just a little bit. All right, there was a 20-second dropout.
We're in the process of handing over downlink video communications capability between satellites on the tracking and data relay satellite system. Sergei Ryzhikov and Sergei Kud-Sverchkov moving a container over from the Poisk airlock to the Zarya module that contains a brand new fluid flow device that will improve the flow of hydraulic fluid and other plumbing components within that module, the first module ever launched for the International Space Station 22 years ago this coming Friday. And a good view of Poisk on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the station, launched on November 10th, 2009, 11 years ago, having served up to this point as a docking port for visiting Russian vehicles, and today for the first time serving as a venue from which a spacewalk is being conducted. You can see Ryzhikov on the left side of Poisk wearing the suit with the red stripes. Kud-Sverchkov is out of view at this moment.
And now EV2 camera off, and now camera on. The LED is not illuminated. And Reba only has one light on. Let me try it one more time. Let me cycle. Okay, so two lights on, but the camera LED is not green. I pressed the button one more time, and now it is illuminated. We copy. So, what lights are we talking about? U.S. lights or Orlan lights? U.S. lights. Well, you have a go to activate Orlan lights too. And Sergei, please verify that the handle is secured correctly to the pin, with the pin. The handles are for your backpack are secured correctly to the pin. We're not seeing correct telemetry. Okay, I had it, and it should be in the correct position. Okay, we see that it is closed now in telemetry. Did you see whether it was coming away? I did, and it wasn't. Okay, now we're getting the right telemetry. Thank you.
All right, so the long one is attached to 6009. Sergey, could you please move the kit hook to make sure that I don't have to reach 2 times? Okay, yes, we'll do. Okay, stand by. Wait. Excellent. Got it. It is secured now. 6014 is, and I'm moving now, pulling it up so you can reach. Okay, so wait. Should I move over the tether? Which one? Okay, let's go ahead and try doing that. Okay, let's do it during the next transfer. Okay, so I'm holding it, giving it to you. I'm next to VL2.
Сергей,
Copy.
ты с камерой выключил, включил ее?
And we're monitoring you. And Sergey 1, did you cycle the camera? Okay, I didn't do that. I forgot about it because we started working on the handle. Okay, well, I'll do it now when Sergey moves over here. Yes.
And a good view of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Prominently in the center of the view, the Poisk module, and on the left of it, Sergei Ryzhikov, the space station commander, Sergei Kud-Sverchkov next to him. That long pole that you see attached to the Poisk module is the Strela boom, Strela being the Russian word for arrow, a telescoping boom that the cosmonauts use to move from one segment of the work sites around the Russian segment to another. On the far right of your screen, the ISS Progress 75 cargo ship attached to the aft port of the Zvezda service module, and will remain attached to that until the mid-February time frame.
Sometimes I see that it is illuminated. And I didn't see it when you turned it on. I guess it blinked in a way. Okay, so can you see it now? I don't think it's illuminated. Moscow. Could you please confirm? Are you getting the video? No, we do not have the video right now. What about video 2? No, there is no WVS video. We only see the image that we're getting from the arm. Okay, so the green one is illuminated. Correct, yes, and mine is illuminated too. Okay, so let's move on. Yes, let's move on now. Let's not spend time on it now. We're seeing you through the camera on the arm. So you can proceed now, and then we can get back to the camera up later. Okay, copy. So I'm securing to the shortcut handrail. Okay, excellent.
$6116.
6116. The kit goes there as well. I'm holding it. Okay, I'm handing it over to you. EV2, 6015. The short one, I don't see its number. 6005. Okay, yes, and the kit hook is also installed on 6015. Holding the kit, okay. Handed it over, so I'm going to inspect this area. I don't think there should be anything in the way. As far as I remember it, yes, there is sufficient room here. And I'm I'm getting to a differential guide handrail. Moving the kit over there, moving along the handrail. Copy. Are you holding it? And I handed it over. I'm going to move it up just to make sure that it's more convenient for you. Okay. It's pre-hooked. The hooks are now secured. And the kit is rehooked now as well, and I'm proceeding with translation. Okay, so move closer then. Okay, excellent. And I can move it over here. Okay, are you holding it? Yes. Is it towards me? No.
Наблюдаем картинку на шлемной камеры второго.
And we're getting the WVS video of EV2. Copy.
Наблюдаем камеру манипулятора.
And also we're getting the view from the arm. It is rehooked now, and the hook is...
A good view of Sergei Ryzhikov working to configure equipment outside of the Poisk module airlock. Right alongside of him is the airtight container, as it is called by the Russian specialists, within which a brand new fluid flow regulator, which will be installed on the Zarya module shortly. And a helmet camera view from Sergei Kud-Sverchkov of the work that he is conducting.
And I'm moving over. Copy, copy. And we can see you. Okay, got a bit too far. Do not rush.
The International Space Station flying 260 miles over the South Atlantic, just off the east coast of Argentina. This orbit of the Earth carrying the orbital outpost and its 7 crew members from southwest to northeast on a track that will cross the western coast of Africa a short time from now.
Okay, I got it. You got it? Yes.
Sergei Ryzhikov is hovering right next to the Zarya module. That's where this fluid flow regulator replacement work will be conducted a short time from now. That module launched on a Proton rocket on November 20th, 1998, 22 years ago this coming Friday, the first element of the International Space Station.
The kit is secured to the flexible handrail, copy, and we can see it as well. My launch tether is also on the soft handrail. The short one is installed on the soft handrail. You're holding it, yes, correct. It's on the second one, right? Yes, of course. Now I'll have to hold on to the other soft handrail. Sergey, can you move over? I guess I can rehook it now, and then you will be translating along the flexible handrails. Yes, that's what I thought too, and I'm monitoring. Okay, so let me move back a bit to not be in the way.
Короткий, длинный. Застраховал.
Those hooks are now secured.
Надо себя контролировать. Просто заносит.
And I really have to watch my body position in the space because I get swinging back and forth. Well, I need to make sure that I don't mix them up. They're of different colors and barcodes. Okay, the hook is now secured. Okay, tethered, copy. And let me reach towards the kit. I'm holding it. Copy. Copy, you're holding it. So let's turn it a bit. Let me grab onto the other handrail, and you're gonna get this from me because I'll have to move back by a few degrees. Okay, are you holding it? Yes, holding it. Can you try catching it now? Okay, excellent. And now I have to move over. Okay, let me do that. Stand by. Yes, it's quite dusty here. I'm translating along the soft handrails. Okay, so I guess I will have to hold on to the flexible or soft handrails. So let me do this. I'm at a maximum here, and I'm secured quite well. Okay. Are you holding it? Yes, I'm holding it. Okay, so handing it over to you. Yes.
Ребят, наблюдаем картинку с обеих ваших камер.
Guys, we're getting the video from both cameras. Copy.
Застраховал оба своих. Работают цепочка.
Both hooks are now installed, and I will proceed with the kit operations.
Укладка застрахована.
The kit is now secured and tethered. Copy.
Взял.
I'm holding it. Okay, I'm handing it over to you.
Нахожусь на ТСПМ. Только не...
Inaudible.
Перешел на поручень.
Switch into the handrail.
13, непонятно, 50.
13, and I guess it's 50. It's not clear.
Укладку.
Moving the kit over.
Укладку перенес.
The kit is now transferred.
Перенес длинный.
Copy.
Чуть-чуть. Ага, отлично.
A bit over here. Okay, that's great.
Перенес короткий. Подхожу поближе.
And the small hook is now installed too. Moving closer to you, and I am holding the kit. Okay, copy.
Вот она, наша
So
панель.
let me look around. So this is
Наша
the panel that we need,
площадка.
and this is the platform.
Длинный я перецеплять не буду.
I'm not going to rehook the large hook.
Да. Артем, место АСТР
Artem,
жарковато еще.
it's
Холод тублер положить.
hot here since ISTER automatic thermal control system is on. Can I move the handle to...
This is Mission Control Houston, 1 hour 33 minutes into today's spacewalk, which also saw the verification of the ability of the POISC module to support a spacewalk for the first time. A great view here from an external camera on the International Space Station of the two cosmonauts, Sergei Ryzhikov and Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, now working on top of the Zarya module, the first element of the International Space Station launched 22 years ago. The container in between the two holds a new fluid flow regulator that will replace an aging unit to do just what it implies, regulate the flow of fluids and the plumbing of the Zarya module that essentially connects the U.S. and Russian segments of the International Space Station.
In that case,
And a split-screen view of the two helmet cameras on the cosmonauts.
okay, well, the automatic system is on now, and what we have is the switches. Can we use that? So as their automatic...
Sergei Kud-Sverchkov's helmet camera is on the left, Sergei Ryzhikov's helmet camera on the right, as they work in tandem to position themselves for the installation of this new fluid regulator unit.
As their thermal control system is off, moving to 6 to 4. Okay, so it's going to be like this. The hooks are moved now. Oh, okay, no. So I wanted to move farther, but I guess it would be better to be here and to do one more. I have rehooked my tethers, and the kit has been re-tethered as well. I'm now closer to the platform, okay? And I'm holding it now. Copy, handing it over. Okay, stand by. And
while the two cosmonauts are working on the first task of today's spacewalk, the installation of this fluid regulator unit in the Zarya module, it is reported that the Resilience Crew Dragon that carried Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, and Soichi Noguchi to the International Space Station for its docking late Monday night is now configured for what are known as quiescent operations, steady-state operations at the International Space Station. It automatically docked to the forward port of the Harmony module late Monday night. The four new residents comprising the addition to the Expedition 64 crew on board. They have spent the day transferring cargo and flight data files and placing a Crew Dragon in the proper configuration for its 6-month stay as a part of the International Space Station.
I'm at my workstation monitoring the kit position. It's an excellent position right now, and I'm holding it. Okay. And Artem, inaudible, should we keep it here? Did you say there are bars? No, wire ties. Can you see them on the video? Well, okay then, you can keep them there. Put the latches in the operating position. They are in operating position now. Copy. And you're going to install the pressurized container on its platform. Okay. Stand by, and I'll have to change the tether position as well. Okay, it's convenient now, and we'll proceed. I see the antenna here. I'm ready. Okay, so we'll keep going. Move closer. I'm holding it. Okay, excellent. So let me move closer to you. There is no digital numbering here, and I will use the color code. 2 yellow ones on the side of Sergey on plane 2. Okay, copy. So 1-4 should be on your side, and the fact that there is no labeling there, that's fine. That's how it's been for a while now. Okay, move just a bit over here. Okay, like that. And they're in on my side and on my side as well. Soft dock is confirmed. Copy. Please put the latches in closed position. Number 4 is closed. Number 1 is closed. Okay. Okay, everything is fine. Copy. And we can open the KSD. Yes, copy. And who's going to do that? EV1 or 2? Let me do that. Is it more convenient for you? Well, I guess I can do that with my right hand. Okay, so you are doing it, right?
КСД открываем на 2 оборота.
Please make 2 turns to open KSD. Copy.
Сергей, второй, тогда...
Sergey 2. So check out the connector for now, and 2 turns are complete. The connector next to handrail 1360.
Сергей, первый принято.
On above the panel. So this is the metal connector. I can see it.
Все верно. Ребят,
It's open now. And guys, I have a question. On the timeline, we were supposed to take a break. So do you need a break or should we continue? Well, we can take a break for 1 minute, or we can proceed if we don't need to rush. Okay, then, please take a break then, and once you're ready, we will proceed. Okay.
The Russian flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow conferring with our two spacewalkers, Sergei Ryzhikov on the left, Sergei Kud-Sverchkov on the right. And that cylindrical container is the so-called airtight container housing a replacement fluid regulator unit that will be installed in the Zarya module, which they are working at. That's the first element of the International Space Station, launched 22 years ago this coming Friday. The two cosmonauts successfully tested the Poisk airlock for use for future Russian spacewalks. That checked out in great shape. The crew is running a few minutes behind the timeline for the day. And a good view now from the helmet camera of Sergei Ryzhikov, the Expedition 64 commander, as he and Kud-Sverchkov prepare to remove this new replacement fluid regulator from the container for its installation in Zarya.
Of that area, and it would be great to see it.
We're now 1 hour 43 minutes into today's spacewalk. Other tasks on the docket will be the disconnection of a telemetry antenna that links the Zvezda service module to the Pirs docking compartment and its attachment to the interface between Zvezda and the Poisk module. That begins the lengthy series of work over the next several months to decommission the Pirs docking compartment for its removal and disposal via a Progress spacecraft next year. That will clear the Earth-facing port of the Russian segment for the installation of the new Nauka mini multi-purpose laboratory module that will be launched next year on a Proton rocket for its installation as a laboratory, an airlock, and a docking port all in one. That launch to take place from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, a launch date yet to be determined.
Okay, it is off on my side. No, it is still full now. Okay, I don't want you to push it here. Is it still on? Well, yes, let's make sure that it goes off. Okay, 2 minutes are up. And we are ready to continue. Copy. If you got a chance to rest and if you're ready, then you can go ahead and start demating the connectors of RG, SP, K1. And please provide commentary on what you are doing. I can see the connector. It is on the Lirka clip, the middle connector, one out of the 3 connectors. Copy.
I can indeed. Royal is just coming. Hold on a second, please.